Greetings, I'm Barrett, and welcome to Meet Me at the Table. Here it is, that's right, it is Stars of Akarios. This is a game I have been wanting and hoping for a long time. It finally showed up on my doorstep. This is my Kickstarter copy. I did the all-in pledge, so you're not only going to see the base game, but I've got our mat as well. I'm going to be putting that out so we can see that in all of its glories. And of course, what would be a game is never complete without its miniature set. So I have that. We're going to go through all of this stuff. This is going to be super, super fun. It's what Stars of Akarios is, in case you don't know, is a solo cooperative campaign game for 1 to 4 players where you fight in space battles, you explore mysterious universes, you can even land on planets and explore them as well. You're going to be having a character that you're going to be in charge of that's going to have their own spaceship, and each person that plays has their own spaceship and crew member, which is fantastic. This is going to be super, super cool, and all the spaceships, I believe, are completely different in the way they originally work. So let's dig into this thing, see what it's all about. I'm excited to show you at least whatever I can, since it is a campaign game after all. I don't want to spoil too much, but let's go ahead and dig into this. And if you're excited to see what Stars of Akarios is and what's in the box and all the awesome things that go along with it, then I need you to meet me at the table. I thought I'd start by showing off the playmat that comes with the game. This is going to be a hex-based system when it comes to spaceship combat, and you'll see how all of that works during our playthrough. Yes, of course, there's going to be a playthrough for Stars of Akarios. I'm super excited for this. I have to have one. On top of that, you're going to be going onto planets as well, which is not going to be using this from what I understand. It'll be using more of a card-based system, so to see that also in the playthrough. And if you're interested in seeing the playthrough, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell symbol on this video so you know when those playthroughs come out. Also, if you're interested in supporting the channel, you can check out my Patreon. It's going to be in the description of this video. Some of the things the Patreon members can do is help decide who is going to be our pilot and what ship that pilot is going to be flying. It's going to be up to you to help decide how this channel transforms, and that's going to be all found in the Patreon, so please take a look in the description of this video. This is going to be our playmat. It's super cool. I'm going to do the rest of the unboxing right on top of this because, well, after all, look at how cool this playmat is. Let's move right to the base box. I'm going to lift our lid, and I'll tell you right now, this is packed above the lid with content. It is absolutely out of control. It's super cool. It comes, well, let's see what this is first. This right here is going to be, oh, is this like the star system? Look at this. This is the star system. Oh my goodness, this is amazing. It comes with all the different planets and the solar systems and things. The Abyss, oh, I don't think I want to go out there. That'd be bad news. I've heard of other ships that have gone to a place called the Abyss and it doesn't turn out too well. Oh, unless you're James Cameron and you make the Abyss, usually that actually turned out okay. Those aliens were nice and happy, but I don't think I want to go there. This is really cool. We'll see how this plays throughout our campaign and what is in store for us there. Here's our punch boards. We'll quickly go through those after we take off this and see what's underneath. Oh my gosh, look at all this stuff. We got all this stuff to go through. These are going to be our player boards, and look, it has a fantastic system to hold all our stuff. The only thing I'm a little worried about is I'm not sure if the card sleeves are going to fit into these. So let's continue going. We have all of the different character sheets here, and I know I'm pulling these things out. We are going to go through each one of these things individually. Here are the 4 different characters I believe you can start with, and here's their characters and what they are, and I believe they're all different. They all have, some things are the same, but some things are different when it comes to the levels of power-ups and things of that nature. They have game trays has supported them, so they have their heroes and their ships inside each of these game trays, so you can hold on to what you have as you go through the game, and you'll hold on to it forever. We have all of our cubes, and it looks like we have our enemy boards here as well. We'll go through, like I said, we're going to go through all of these individually as we go. This is the mat, or the ship, or sorry, the board. I'm not going to open this because it's going to be the same as our playmat, but I do need to grab what's on the back of this because that's going to be super important. We have that. I don't need this. I'm not going to, I hope nobody eats that. That'd be bad news. We don't need this. Here's our scenario book. I'm going to just look at maybe the first couple pages of this. I don't want to show too much of it. Then here's the rest. So now that I've taken everything out to this point, let's take a look at some of the cool things that are found inside this game. Underneath our board is the rule book. The rule book is right here. It is, I believe, 30 some pages long, 39 pages with your index here. Then there's, I believe, so it just kind of goes through some of the stuff that you can possibly get. The cool thing about this game is there is an app that goes along with it, which you can download. I don't know if it's ready yet at the time of this recording, but I'm sure it's going to be out pretty soon if it's not already there. There's also a community you can join down here on using this QR code or this link right here. That's pretty sweet. I'm really excited to dig into all of this. Now, this is, of course, just the rule book on how you're able to play the game. And the tutorial, I think, in the actual scenario book is going to kind of step by step take you through some of this, and hopefully you'll just need this to reference a little bit as you're playing the game. If you're looking for a great playthrough of this, or at least a how to play video series of this, I'll put a link to it in the description of this video. I believe one of the creators of the game, or a part of the creation team, has done a fantastic playthrough of it, so you can take a look at that. I could be wrong about that, and I apologize if I am, but there is a great video out there, so I'm going to link that in the description of this. Let's continue digging on. Well, I'm going to have to read this. We don't have to dig through this anymore. It's a rule book. If we look at our punch boards, we have some of the bigger planets that can be placed out on top of this mat that you have back here on the board. We have some asteroids, some smaller areas here that are going to make every space combat a little bit different. These down here are some of our scenario markers that are going to trigger certain things, I believe, in the scenario if you land on or do something near them, is my guess. The next punch board has some of our ships. We also have some of our characters down here. We have Starla, Violet Ray, Guardian, and Enver. On the flip side of these, it does just show some art that has to do with these different ships. These different ships, of course, are all a little bit different. They're all going to be played differently, which is really cool. So you can, I believe, be able to pick any type of ship for any character, but there's a limited number or type of ship you can be at the very beginning of the game, but I'm sure more unlocks as you play through it. There are even more on this other one here. There are more ships. Again, some of these may be available at the beginning, and some are going to unlock, I'm sure, as you go. We have our character. Now, if you notice, these character stats are all a little bit different as well. So every character will play a little bit different when it comes to the types of skills and abilities that they have, from what I understand. These here are all different types of enemy ships that we're going to have to fight. The same as that was on the other playmat as well. And we're continuing here with even more enemies, and we have tokens for all of our different characters that we saw, at least the little tokens that are going to be used in this game. Again, more terrain for the board as we're doing some of the space combat, and then we have some extra numbered tokens over here. Digging back into the box, we have our bases for our ships. We'll show you how some of that works. We have custom dice. This is a dice placement. At least one of the mechanics is a dice placement mechanic, and you'll see how that works during our playthrough. And there is a specific six-sider here that is used differently from all the other ones. Every enemy we fight is going to be placed into one of these type of things. Your enemy is going to be placed in here. It's going to have a certain amount, I believe, of hull here, and then also its ability to maneuver around as well. And it does have, it can get up to 30 of these. This is out of control. These are going to be, if you decide to, if you, for example, do a hull breach or stealth or stun, you'll place a token there showing that that has befallen that particular enemy. And there's a lot of these, so I am worried that at some point we might have to take on this many enemies at one time. And if we do, I hope I'm prepared for it. Our player boards are much bigger. They have a lot more going on here. Of course, we do have our hull, and this is shields. I misspoke earlier about maneuvering. Shields, we have stress here. You can take stress in this game to help be able to do actions in this game. Down here, you're going to see that, as I showed you the dice earlier, depending on what dice you roll, you can place these out here and perform certain basic actions, or of course, you're going to have weapon and engine actions you're going to be using as well in this game. Your pilot's going to sit up here with its miniature. Its ship card is going to be here with its miniature as well. So after we all get a lot of this stuff unboxed and look through, I'm going to set this up so you can see what a cool looking board looks like. This is going to be our ship ability, our pilot ability, and we also get a couple tech cards going forward as well. This down here is going to be where you can put some of the tokens to represent different things that have happened that you're going to have to keep track of on your ship's engines and weapons and things of that nature. And again, same down here, if you take these certain statuses, I believe you're just going to put those tokens in there to show that you have that taken those damage, or at least that befallen that ailment, I should say. We have even more pads. We do have a pad for every one of those characters I showed you. There are 8 here, and I think some of the ones you'll start with, like I said, and some you won't. I don't know which ones they are exactly. Here's our main miniature. This is the mothership, I guess you could say. I guess it's not a mothership. It's the Sparrow is what it's called, but I refer to it as mothership. And the cool thing is these things just kind of go right in here. And yes, all of these are going to be painted. I love to do painting when it comes to making my games look really cool. So we'll be painting these up to make them look really neat. It fits right on that base just like that, and like it shows here, this thing will then slide in, and I believe you're going to put your little signify who's flying the ship. That's what those little symbols or tokens were for when you saw them on the punch boards. They're going to go in there so that people don't get confused at what ship is where and who is doing what. Which is pretty cool. Look at this ship. This ship is pretty awesome. I'm excited to paint. I haven't painted up some starships in a long, long time, so I'm really excited to get to these. There's other ships down here as well, and I believe these are all the different player ships that we could have. The other box of ships, I believe, are all the enemy ships. I could be wrong. Don't quote me on that. We'll see how it all befalls us here. This looks pretty cool. Looks like a squid. That's something else. Or maybe it is a squid. What is this thing? Oh my gosh, it's got like a, it looks like it has like a Gatling gun attached to it. That's pretty awesome. I bet that does a lot of damage if it needs to. Here's some of the other ships here as well. And then I believe we have some of our, I don't know if these are our characters or are these going to be some of the people that we might interact with on the planet. Not sure which is which here. I think these are all going to be people we may locate along the way, because the stuff for our ships are all going to be in here. Now I think about it, these are going to be a lot of the ships that we can start with. And these might be upgraded ships, or these could be powerful enemy boss ships down here as well. Again, we'll have to see how it all befalls us as we play through the game. Look at this guy. He's got a giant mace warhammer death thing here. And I don't want to get hit by that at all. That would be absolutely devastating. Let's see if we can get him back in his little box there. There we go. Inside every player tray, we're going to be able to carry our miniature of who it is in there. Here's one of the characters, I believe. We'll put that there. And then, of course, there's a spaceship you'll be putting in here as well. Just because it's the spaceship and the character in here, I don't believe that's the case. You can kind of intermix these if you wish to, but I could be wrong about that. We'll see how the game is played. Again, these things just pop right into there, and they're just going to stay in there. But, of course, we have to get them painted first, and this will show who's flying the ship, which is pretty sweet. You just disconnect it. There is a modifier deck of this game, so when you go to perform actions, you're going to draw a modifier card, which is going to, well, that's not one we ever want to see. I don't want to see miss. I believe it means you're going to miss. It could be like a 0. There's a ×2. Then all the other ones are either 0s, +1, a +2, or -1s and -2s. This is going to modify your actions. This deck is going to change and grow as you play through the game. You're going to be adding and subtracting things based on skills, things that's happened in the game. Any type of thing could probably change this deck, which is really cool. I'm excited for how that works. And there's 4 of these exactly the same, except with a little bit different miniature and a little bit of a different ship. So I'm not going to pull them all out and show you, but just want you to be aware that there are 4 of them, and you'll be able to play with up to 4 players if you wish to, which is super cool. Just to show you a little bit about how you can modify that deck, if you notice that you're going down different trees here, for example, this one can remove a -2, or you can add a +2 if you wish to. This can remove a -1, you can remove a 0, or you can gain whatever this is. This one will add 2 + 1, so your deck will grow as you go down some of these trees. At least that's one way to be able to change the deck. And every character is a little bit different. Here are some of these cubes. I don't need to open these cubes. I think you've seen cubes before. I'm just going to have them reflect off the light and make it super hard to see. But there's different cubes used for multiple things in this game. Then we have our Sparrow tray. The Sparrow is going to be, like I said, like the mothership type thing. So the Sparrow is going to be your home base, and it's going to have its own area here where it's going to be able to, I guess it's going to carry things in here, and then you're going to be able to place cubes out on it to keep track of its statistics. And then it has a trauma deck right here. This could be something that could be, it's definitely not going to be good. This trauma deck is going to come into play if you ever take too much stress or you become unconscious or something. You might have to draw a trauma and abide by it. So I'm just going to show you one to show you kind of what these are. So example, here's one that says keep firing. Reduce your supply to 0 from the weapon upgrade with the most supply. Deal 3 damage to all enemy and allied ships, including yourself, within 3 range. So that's probably not good to have happen to you, but it's pretty cool that it's there. So it's just one of the decks of cards. There are so many we're about to look through. We have pilot ability cards. There's some for every pilot. There's 4 for each pilot here in this deck of cards. I'm going to show you one of them, and it's okay because you actually, when you start the game, you are going to take the pilot card for your pilot, the first one you have. So Starla has, for example, self-sacrifice. She can use one of these dice to perform the effect that's on here. And it's going to cause, you're going to have supplies. It's going to do 1 damage. Again, I'm not sure exactly how this all transpires. We'll see how it works in the playthrough. Hopefully I don't ever have to use self-sacrifice. Sound like a good one to use, but there is some for every pilot, so these are going to increase in power, I'm guessing, as you go, but I'm not going to look at these until it tells me to, which is going to be cool, super cool. There's another modifier deck. This one is the enemy modifier deck, I believe, and they're going to have the same deck you do to a certain extent. I don't think it, and all the enemies on the board, I believe, use the same type of modifier cards, so these modifier cards are going to adjust to their abilities that they're using against you, instead of having a whole deck of cards for each enemy. Our next deck of cards is the Sparrows. I believe these are some of the upgrades for the Sparrow as we play through the game. These I'm not going to look at because I don't know if you start with any of these in the campaign. We also have a bunch of co-pilot cards. These are going to be cards that are going to add different effects to your player and ship as you fly around. I mean, a co-pilot is going to be able to give you an extra, I believe, action or maybe resources or something. Again, I'm not going to look at these until the game tells me to because I don't want to spoil too much. I know I'm not helping those that don't mind sealed spoilers, but I want to make sure I leave this as spoiler-free as possible. Though, of course, doing an unboxing like this, you may see something. The next deck of cards is our engine cards. These are going to be upgrades to our engines. I can show you some of these because you will start with some of these when you start the game. For example, you can choose one of the 4 that are at the very top. These are going to be different maneuvers that you can do. This one I think is super cool, and I love these type of things. You can spend one of your dice here that has that symbol to allow you to fly out that many space and rotate back around. That's really neat, a burn and flip. Another one that we have could be a flank. Again, you're going to 1, 2, 3 up, 1 over, spin, and come back around, so you'll hopefully be able to attack somebody from the back. So there's really neat engine upgrades that you can have. From looking at the player board though, I believe you're only going to be able to upgrade 2 have 2 out at a time. Next we have weapon upgrade cards. Again, there's an absolute ton of these. I can show a few of these off because you do get to start by choosing one of these. Look at this one, Proton Blast. Oh my gosh, you know what they really need? I sure hope there's a Death Blossom card in here. That would be awesome. I think my life would be complete if there's a Death Blossom card from the last Starfighter. That would be awesome, or at least some homage to it. That would be amazing. We have Long Shot here. This is going to be able to attack 3 people, but of course he skips the first square, I believe. So we'll have to see how these all play out with our ship. We'll decide which one is good for us. Next, we have 2 huge decks of cards that are going to modify that modifier deck I was talking about. There's so many different things in here. I don't even know what all of these are. Maybe like a target lock on there. You could potentially prevent damage or do more damage, maybe. I'm going to guess that's a cloaking system of some kind, which is super cool. I want to fly with a cloaking device. That'd be amazing. I don't even know what some of these do. This is possibly a reroll on a die, which would be pretty neat. I know I've said no spoilers, but I don't think this is really that big a deal because you can see them on the character sheet whether you want to get them or not as you're going down that tree. We have ×2, maybe repair of some kind. So these are really cool. Look at how many. There are an absolute astronomical amount of cards that are going to modify that deck. On top of that, there's a whole ton of tech upgrades as well that are going to add special benefits to your ship from what I understand. Again, I'm not going to look at these because I don't believe we start with any of these, so I don't want to know what is in there. Not only do your characters gain abilities, but your ships are going to gain abilities too. There are 3, I think, for each ship. I can't show any of these either because they don't start with any of these. So it'll be interesting to see as we play through it what ship we decide to take, what upgrades they're going to get. This is going to be really cool to see. And there's even more modifier cards. These are again, this is a different, no, this is the same thing. These are modifier cards again. There's misses. I believe these are from stress and maybe from something that's happened in the campaign to give you these. There shows a different symbol down here from some of the other things. I think these are going to be like just ones you put in based on mission objectives or things that have happened in the past or happened to you during the game. These I think are going to come in and out from what I understand. The next 2 deck of cards, I'm not too sure what they're going to do. They might be like an AI type deck or something. This is like enemy combat cards. And then we have some events that could take place maybe on the ship or on the planets as well. Don't forget this is also a planet game. Speaking of planets, we have a ton of planets here. We have 3, I guess, 3 big, huge things here. We've got decks of planets. I don't know if there's any inside here that are past these, but these just have 3 start here's. I'm not going to open these because, of course, we're not starting on a planet. We're starting in space, and so we'll have to get to one of these planets to see what's inside here. Again, not going to show these because I don't want to spoil too much. Here are the enemy cards. These are double-sided, so there's not much any way you could actually hide these from you. But I do like the fact that there's an elite side and just a regular side, so you'll be able to fight the same type of monsters, but they're going to be more powerful as you play through the game, which is pretty cool. There's different scouts, there's frigates, and of course those are all found as those stand-e's, unless of course you bought the miniature pack, which we do. We have so many different ships we're going to be able to fight, and of course these are all going to be the same as each other. There's not too much difference in the scouts, but they are going to be different based on the ship you're fighting against. But there is a little bit difference between the regular one and the elite one. As you can tell, this one has 2 attack, 3 attack, 8 hulls, 6 hulls. So there is some difference in at least the difficulty. All the rest of the cards that I have available to me off screen are all based on the type of enemies. Those were kind of an AI type system. The one I found down here, I was kind of wondering what that is. Knowing now that there's all the other cards I had were these type of cards. This, of course, is the Ronin Scouts. It shows that, and on the back of these shows kind of what they do. I am going to show one of these because the first enemy you're fighting is a scout, so it's not that big a deal. What's going to happen during its turn is it's going to attempt to perform this type of action, and you'll see how that works during the playthrough. So every enemy does do something a little bit different each turn based on the card that you draw, which is going to be pretty sweet. So there's Ronins, there's frigates, there's these synthetic fighters, there's all different types of enemies we're going to be fighting based on these. So not only can you get the same type of, you can fight the same ships, you also are going to be fighting them differently each turn based on the cards that they have in their AI deck. That's all that's in the base box. I know it's, I say that's all, but that's an astronomical amount of stuff. We're going to move that to the side because I want to look at the ships of Akarios now. These are going to be all our enemy ships from what I understand. Oh my goodness, look at these. These are going to be fantastic. And we're going to be painting these all up on our live painting stream. So please feel free to drop in and see how we paint up each of these ships that we're going to be fighting. Look at these ships. These are fantastic. Like I said, I haven't painted starships in a long time. I'm really looking for it. It looks like a whale. Wow, that's absolutely awesome. So we have some really cool ships that we're going to be fighting against. Oh, look at this one. These are really neat. I'm really excited to be able to paint some of these. Let's go to the second tray. Look at, they're super big. This is going to be really good. And here's some of the standees, and you're just going to put the token number of whatever ship it is in there. Look at this. These are just going to fit right in there, and you're going to play against these. Oh my goodness, it'd be amazing. See if I can even get it in there. Oh, there you go. Look at that. Oh, I'm just super excited to paint up this array to make it kind of shine, because I really want these things to look like they're in space. This would be really cool to paint. I'm excited to get to these. So I'm not going to, I mean, there's so, oh my goodness, look at this thing. This thing is awesome. I don't even know what that is. We'll have to see as we play through the game. And check this guy out. Oh, wow. This is going to be really cool. Oh my gosh, so many awesome things. Again, another ship. I just keep picking up ships because they're so cool. These ships are, every one of them looks really neat. All right, we got to stop looking at ship. There we go. We'll put this back in here. Stop looking at ships, Barrett. This is really cool. Oh my goodness. Stars of Akarios, I think, is going to be a complete winner. I don't see how this game can fail me. I've been looking forward to this game for an absolutely astronomical amount of time, and I am super pumped to be able to get this game to the table as fast as I can so I can show you the beauty that is Stars of Akarios. If you didn't, and that's really about it. That's the only thing. That's all I got for Stars of Akarios. And like I said, all I got is an astronomical amount of content. I believe this game is going to take quite a while to get through. There is one more deck of cards I want to show, but I don't know how much of it I can show. And that's these giant tarot cards. This is from the base box. These are going to be reference cards for us, which is pretty cool. We're going to really be able to do this. And I love how they tell you what page you can turn to if you have any real big questions about where you find any of the stuff on the reference card. And there's a lot of reference cards here that you're going to have to read through and look. I'm going to drop them on the ground too. Now, this is the stuff I can't really show. This looks like going to be our exploration of those different planets or solar systems we saw, or the galaxies we saw on that sheet of paper when we originally started the unboxing. Look at that. We have start here. This could be the first one we start with, as opposed to that. No, this one says start here. So there's many places we have to start. We'll see how this all transforms. So this is going to be our space deck, and it's going to kind of lay out almost like a continent, except it's going to be the outer space. It's going to be awesome. I'm super excited for that. So that's the last deck of cards I had. I did put it aside and forgot that it was over there, and I didn't want to miss something in the unboxing. So there you have it. That is Stars of Akarios. I am super excited for this. If you haven't noticed, if you did enjoy the unboxing, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell symbol like I said earlier so you can join us for the playthrough. Also, please feel free to join us for our live painting session. We are going to be painting up some of the ships and some of the enemies we're going to be fighting in Stars of Akarios. Of course, the ships that we're going to be painting up are going to be voted on by the Patreon members. So also, if you're interested in doing that, please look at the link in the description of this video and join if you wish to help support the channel. Those that have already joined the Patreon are listed right here, and I thank you for all of their support. The money I get through the Patreon, of course, goes right back into this channel to help bring about the best content I can. Again, thank you so much for watching. If you're excited to see Stars of Akarios, then I need you to meet me at the table.